Giselle Formulesa Dinuan is a writer, editor, and social impact professional who leads grants and impact work for Connected Women, a social enterprise upscaling women for the future of work. She has served as literary sector representative for the Creative Baguio City Council and is the founding member of NorthCom. So kasama pala ni Chino si Giselle. Helping strengthen Northern Luzon's creative and cultural networks. Based in Baguio City, she works at that intersection of storytelling, digital tools, and community empowerment. Let's put our hands together. Let's give a big hand for Giselle Formulesa Dinuan.
Ayong costume. Magandang hapon po. Alam ko, inaan ko kayo. So, I'll try to make it as interactive as possible. No? So, wait lang. Matulog. Thank you. Sorry. Can I have the clicker, please? Okay. So, yung kwentuhan mo natin ngayong hapon has to do with how to use lighting, and I will also add some insights and also recommendations on how we can use AI tools, for example, to start your own digital archive. Kasi alam ko yung iba sa inyo, nag-iisip na kung paano magagamit itong mga tools na to for improving your own museums. No? So I'm happy to be invited at thank you kay Ma'am Stella for letting me share. No? And I'd like to also greet everyone because I'd like to share how important it is for you as the guardians of our culture, being part of the museums of the Philippines, how important it is for you to help preserve and share our cultures, especially to the younger generation. Kasi alam naman natin na, kagaya ng sinabi ni Councilor Yuri kahapon, puro pang matanda daw yung museum, which shouldn't be the case. No? So, okay. So I have a question. So interactive nga, no? So anyone who is willing to share, can you go to the microphone in front? And my question is, coming from your perspective as a museum worker, ano yung isang storya or kwento na gusto ninyong i-share about your own museum? So I'd like to encourage one or two. Ayaw. mga gustong ano. Sino po ang gustong mag-share? Saan po yung mga taga Visayas? Ayan, taga Mindanao. Sige ma'am, go ahead po. Kung pwede pong pa-share dun sa microphone. Ayan, meron pong microphone sa likod ninyo. Ay, ayan po. Salamat po.
Hello po. Actually, I will take this opportunity para malaman nyo na mayroong existing museum in Mindanao, particularly in Marami City. In Mindanao State University, Marami Campus. Okay, so the Aga Khan Museum, it was named Aga Khan in behalf of His Highness Prince Karim Aga Khan IV, Pakistani philanthropist who donated the amount for the building. And that was way back 1969. So, I'm so proud to share with you that it was Miss Gemma Cruz Araneta who inaugurated the museum in March 1969. So now, the Aga Khan Museum, we have 5 galleries. Yeah. So the main gallery contains of the history of the Mindanao State University, so with the history of the museum. So likewise, it contains the ceramics collections, and the back area, we have the exhibition area there. So you can see the main gallery, also our collections or the exhibit arts of the MSU Oker Arts Students Volunteer Arts Club. So every February, we are celebrating this Arts Month Club. So the Arts Month every year, every February. So the second gallery, you can find out those collections made of brass. So I would like to share with you that we are exhibiting in that area the collections of the national artist Muslim in the name of Imam. Yes, so in the third gallery, we have collections made of woods. So you can see there the many miniature Torogan, the Lamin, and the Masjid, so with the Sarimanok, and the other housing and farm implements of the Branagh people. The fourth gallery at the second floor, you can find out the collections from fauna of the museum, and which name we name it Natural Science Museum. And those collections, I'm proud to share with you, it has those collections by Professor Rabon of the University of the Philippines. And most of the collections is very rare. You can only just see some of the collections in the UP. Okay, so while in the fifth gallery, you can view all the textiles, the balong, the landa, or the Branagh people. Then the other portion of the highlights of the fifth gallery is the Quran from Ottoman Empire. That was 18th century.
Okay.
So the most thing we are actually we have to keep on, since this the first Aga Khan Museum built by the Aga Khan family. Another, the second Aga Khan Museum is in Canada. Yeah. So
Very rich po pala yung inyo.
yes.
So ma'am, ang question ko po, meron po kayong Facebook page?
Meron po.
Meron po. So ano po ang pangalan ng Facebook page na
Actually, we
inyo?
have this Aga Khan Museum, that's MSU.
MSU.
Yes, MSU.
Nasa loob po siya ng Marawi City
Mindanao
campus.
City University in Marawi City. So I could share also with you na we are so proud when it comes to tourism. Kami ang pinakamaraming visitors, and I'm also proud to tell you that we have 5 to 6 ambassadors visiting the museum. And most of the people come here, mga researchers, mga foreigners, they will comment, amazing museum, excellent museum. So
Thank you po. Congratulations. Salamat din po for sharing. Siguro ang isang major na tanong lang at kailangan din po siguro ninyong i-share, is because when we talk about Marawi and we talk about Barm, there's always that question of security, peace, no? So baka pwede pong, I mean, in part of what hindi po ngayon, ma'am, pwede pong isama ninyo sa inyong storytelling at even promotion of your own museum, how it has changed since a few years back, because the last time I was sa Iligan lang po ako nakakapunta so medyo, pero we'll get the chance. Okay, thank you po for sharing. So, I'd like to also let you know, I'm coming from a perspective, dahil ako ay isang writer, manunulat. Importante po sa atin ang isulat ang lahat ng mga, writing is a form of keeping memories, no? So, lalo na ngayon, in this day and age, ano ba ang ways of keeping memories natin ngayon? Pictures, TikTok, Instagram, selfies, gano'n. Bihira na po yung nagsusulat. Kung may nagsusulat man, minsan, sadly, hindi naman profound. Pero alam niyo yun, yung medyo may konting, may kababawan. So, but we don't want that, no? For our museums, especially when we want to promote our museums, we have to show why it's important for us to appreciate, to visit the museums and to appreciate the culture that's inside, no? So, writing makes memory visible. And also, it also gives context, it also gives voice, and it also gives the story. And so, it also invites curiosity and emotional connection. Like what you said, marami kayong na-share na hindi ko ma-appreciate kung simpleng pupunta lang ako doon without knowing that it's one of the first museums established carrying that kind of culture. And it also makes objects, not just simply objects, but also objects that are meaningful beyond what we see and what we touch. No? So another important thing about writing is that when you write, especially when you write handwriting, I still believe that handwriting, writing notes helps you retain thoughts, concepts in your mind. More than working on a keyboard, I would have to say. So for museums, we have to think about how we can improve how we describe the objects, artifacts that we have in those museums, in our museums. So, for example, if you were shown a photo like this, what will you will make assumptions, no? Ano ba nakikita ninyo? Pot. Ano, kung tatanungin kayo, saan kaya siya ginagamit? Ano kayang for storing certain things? Food, water. You can only make assumptions without a description. But if you were to add a description, a caption, example lang po ito hindi po ito exact. Earthenware storage jar, circa 1400 CE, used for storing grains or water in daily village life. It helps you appreciate what you see. You will not just say, ay, ano lang siya, banga lang siya. May use siya noon. Okay, so if you go further and create a caption that is more narrative, like in this case, this earthenware jar dating back to around 1400 CE was likely used to store grains or water. Its rounded form and weathered surface carried traces of the daily lives of the community that made and used it. Each mark tells a story of survival, sustenance, and tradition handed down through generations. So anong difference niya dun sa unang caption? Mas may substance, mas may emotional connection tayo sa kanya. Hindi lang siya simpleng when was it made, how was it used. So that's what a caption adds. So, syempre, nag-move yung sorry. Okay, so therefore, why do we think it matters for us to start thinking about digitalizing or digitalization in our museums? A lot of our museums have very old artifacts that we cannot hold anymore, that are in glass, are guarded or inside glass boxes that you cannot feel. Sometimes feeling can also help appreciate, but it's impossible na. Otherwise, when it's exposed to air, it will disintegrate. May mga ganung Pero it protects fragile objects when we digitalize. It also improves access to students, researchers, because you can reach more people. Because they don't need to visit your museum. They can view it online if you make it available online. Then therefore, that adds value to what you carry and what you have in your own museum. It also helps reach younger audiences because our younger audiences may not be as interested to go inside a museum and learn about the certain ethnographies of a certain area. But if you put a story to it and maybe a spin, it can entice them to learn more about it. And it also makes your stories more searchable. Because when you're online and when it's digitalized, you can be, a simple search on Google can make your collection accessible to other people, not just in the Philippines, but also all over the world. Okay, so here's a case study that I'd like to share. And it's connected to the Philippines as well. Ito pong Watsonville is in the Heart is an example of a community-led digital archive. Kaya ko po siya nilagay dyan because it's a story of Ilocano migrants to the US who settled in the US and helped, farm the cotton fields, worked in the cotton fields in 1960s pa yata. So this was created to encourage Ilocano families who are already settled in California to share the artifacts that they have at home. Photos, PDFs, even some examples would be, I'll share with you. So ito, all in all, they have 36 collections, so 36 families. If you can see there, the one here, this is a oral history. Ito yung mga pangalan ng mga pamilya na nag-contribute. Yoro, yan yung last names nila. So, if you look further, each collection would have a description, what is it about, the history of the family, how they came to the Philippines, to the US, what they did, and its other information. No? And some of the collection items would be old. Ito parang membership form kaya or certificate. Tapos ito, obituary, ito article. So, it can be many things. And it all came from the families of these different families no, who migrated. So, this was all done na para siyang hindi siya outsourced. Parang crowdsourced siya from the families that were already there and have migrated to the US. So that's an example. So some practical applications of how you want to look at digitalization for your own museums would be to start building a simple inventory. Google Sheets lang po ang katapat niyan. Hindi po kailangan high-tech. Google Sheets, Excel, if you use Excel. Google Sheets is better because it's shareable. And if you're familiar with the Google Workspace, you can share it amongst yourselves and everyone can contribute. It's also good for you to write short, clear, plain captions. Say, for example, of each of the artifacts that you are looking at. And also look at how you can digitize by batch. Wag ho tayong mag-ambition na 100 kaagad. Pwede ho natin simulan 10 per week, no? Because we know, as most museum workers might be handling not just one task. You're usually all around tayo, no? We're handling the front desk, we're at the reception, we're handling calls, we're handling the social media. So let's be realistic when it comes to starting our own digital archive. And then, when you start your own digital archive, magsimula na po kayong mag-post sa social media. Sabihin nyo, oh, we're starting this. In fact, you can also use social media if you want to gather additional artifacts, if possible, for that kind of So, okay. So let's talk about tools. Kasi tools that are useful for you in writing and digitalization. Some of these I'd like to mention, pwede naman po siyang gamitin na libre. Meron lang po talagang limitations, yung free, but you can still use it. For ChatGPT, it's useful for captions and posts. For Claude AI, it's much more useful for summaries and procedures. Although Claude AI sometimes can also be good for captions and posts. Perplexity AI is good for research. If you want to develop maybe a proposal or a project proposal around a certain archive that you would like to do. Gemini is good, especially when you're working on the Google Workspace. Kasi nandun, naka-integrate na siya. Gemini is an AI of, a chat AI of Google. Microsoft Copilot is good for reports and slides. But it's also good if you have a Microsoft 365 account as well. So these are all tools that you can search online. But like I said, it has limitations. All you need to do is just wait for it to refresh. Magre-refresh naman yan after a certain time. if you're using chat. Kasi ChatGPT paid, yun yung palagi nyo pwedeng gamitin. Pero for those, the ones naman there, they have limits. So, but you can still use it. Okay, so let's do a practical parang example. No? If you were to consider doing an archive of your Cordilleran weaves, saan po yung mga museums na apart from Baguio Museum? Meron pa po bang ibang museums from the Cordilleras na kasama? Ma'am Stella, wala po. Meron? Okay. So, for example, sa Benguet or if in Ifugao, if there's one. So, if you wanted to build an archive of the textiles that you have, marami na kayong textiles, kinuha ninyo from may donors, kung in-acquire ninyo, you can just start small. First of all, you do an inventory of all of the textiles that you have. That's the first thing. Lista nyo muna. And put it in a Google Sheet. And then, mag-assign po kayo ng object ID. And I think this is, ano naman to, goes without saying. If you want to organize something, you have to number it. You know? So, and then apart from that, you have to have a short description. It also matters to answer the question, why do we want to set up a digital archive? What is your purpose? So, kung masasagot nyo yun, mas mag-guide kayo nung kung ano ang gagawin nyo at kung paano nyo siya i-approach. Okay? So, you have to define your scope and goals. It applies to everything. That it's not just the Cordilleran Waves is just an example. So you describe how many textiles you have, and then maybe start thinking about how many you will do at a time, maybe 5, 10, and do it weekly, kasi especially if your time is limited. Identify nyo rin yung target audience ng inyong archive. Are you looking at researchers? Are you looking at students? Are you looking at young people? You want to get more interested in, for example, the culture that you're promoting, no? Malinaw ho dapat kung bakit ninyo ginagawa. Hindi yung, ay, gusto ko lang. Dapat malinaw kung bakit nyo ginagawa. And I also cannot help you answer that because I'm not part of a museum, but I can just give you these questions, no? So, then i-assess nyo yung collection nyo. Alin ba dito yung galing sa, pwede nyo i-group according to province or where it came from. You can also group it according to yung state niya. Ito very fragile, ito pwede pa, ito medyo excellent pa yung kanyang quality. Para alam nyo rin kung ano yung prioritize. Kasi it might be good for you to prioritize the ones that are a bit fragile so that you can keep them already. Hindi nyo na siya kailangan i-expose pa. So, prioritize which items to digitize first, which are the most fragile, most significant, or best documented. So, it depends on your objectives still. Okay. Sige. So, magbigay ako ng example. Yung mga taga-Cordillera will probably so, itong isa, this is a specific Cordilleran wave. Nakita ko ito dun sa video ng Baguio Museum. So, if you notice, you have to be specific about the elements that are used, the color, the insignia, yung lahat ng mga patterns. It also uses mother of pearl, no? Meron siyang beads and mother of pearl. So, this is a Cordilleran textile specific. So, ito yung, I fed the picture in ChatGPT. In-upload ko siya. At nilagay ko, make a short caption. Ito yung lumabas. Striped textile panel from Mountain Province, mid-20th century. Cotton cloth woven with red, black, and green bands and bordered with geometric motifs. Ano yung na-miss niya? Ano yung na-miss niya dun sa caption? Yung mother of pearl and the beads, no? So, as you can see, hindi talaga perfect ang pag-prompt, no? You have to make sure that it's correct. So, before you use the caption, you edit it and make sure you as the museum worker or curator should be able to edit it before it gets finalized as a caption. Okay. So meron din po akong sample na prompts. Kasi some of us have issues with how do you ask ChatGPT? Ano ba yung tamang way of asking for you to get the correct output? Not correct, but the close to what you want. So I have 3 types of prompts. The basic prompt, which actually is a bit more. It asks the ChatGPT to make it more understandable for high school students. So meron akong gustong mangyari dun sa caption na yon. Dapat simple enough siya na description for it to be understood by high school students. The second one is a bit more specific. Parang yung ginawa ni Chino kanina, you are a museum guide. So you are instructing ChatGPT that you have to act like this. You are a museum curator, and this is what I want a museum label to come out. And very specific po talaga siya. Hindi po pwede ang tamad na prompt. Kailangan malinaw kung ano yung hinihingi ninyo sa ChatGPT. And then the third one is a creative prompt. So, kung gusto niyo may konting kwento, may konting drama, para merong emotional connection yung magbabasa, pwedeng ganito. I have copies naman. I think they'll give you copies of the PowerPoint of the presentation, so you can make use of this once you get a copy. So you can try these prompts, copy and paste. Ito po yung lumabas dun sa, hindi po kasi ako makapag-demo, so ito po yung ginawa ko. So, ginawa ko yung number 2 na prompt sa ChatGPT. Ano po yung napansin niyo doon sa taas? In-upload ko din po yung picture. Nakita niyo po, yun na. Yan. I uploaded the image as well because it allows you to upload an image. Okay, so this is what we have. Yan po yung lumabas. This is a hand-woven striped cloth, features bold red, black, and clean hues, accented with zigzag and bead-like geometric borders. Wala pa rin po yung mother of pearl. So kailangan pa rin po ninyong idagdag yung mother of pearl. Hindi niya po dinagdag. Wala pa rin po dyan. So you need to correct it. You need to make sure that it still reflects what's in the textile itself. So this naman is an example of the prompt, the creative one. So paano siya nagkikwento? In the bold red, black, and green stripes, one can see the rhythm of the mountains and the pulse of community life. Each zigzag border echoes the landscapes, rise and fall. Mas may drama. Stitched with patience and pride, imagine the weaver at her loom, hands guided by memory, turning thread into a story of home. Kaya ng ChatGPT. Pwede nyo naman po baguhin yan. Pero it's a bit more storytelling, like may narrative po siyang inaano. So, yan. And sample po ito nung metadata na i-attach ninyo dun sa digital, sa object niyo, sa artifact. Pwede po yung Excel file lang. May columns. Each column would be one field. Object ID, object name, etc. You need to fill that in. And as much as possible, kompleto po dapat. Kung gusto pa rin yung dagdagan nyo by all means. If you can have that information, then you can do that. Okay, so this is just a sample mini workflow if you want to follow it. But you can also adjust it. No? What is important is that when you start doing a digital archive, you have to be consistent. If your commitment is 5 objects a week, then do 5 objects a week. Kasi by the end of a month, by the end of the month, you'll have 20 objects. 20 objects already in your digital archive. No? Tama. So times 12 months if you're going to do it for 12 months or even shorter. So just make sure that you have a space to save it in, everybody who needs access to it has access to it. Because if you don't, then, sayang yung effort ninyo. Wala din po problema na gumamit kayo ng yung smartphones ninyo for pictures, etc. Because this is just a simple digital archive. But of course, it has to be malinaw. The picture has to be clear. But you don't need to have an SLR camera just to start a digital archive. Okay, so again, start small. Wag ko kayong mag-ambition na malaki. Start small and then you can just increase your target if you have more people that you can work on it. Back up your files. Importante po yun. Okay, so ang closing ko natin, again, it's important for us to write so that we can transform objects into stories. Having digital archive can extend our reach beyond the four walls of our museum. Tools can lighten our load. And in a week, you can choose 1 object or 5 objects or 10 objects, as long as kaya ninyo consistently to do it. And then, make sure that you write a caption. Gumamit po kayo ng tools. Wala naman hong mawawala sa atin as long as we keep on checking if the tool is in fact reflecting what is real and what is authentic. No? And then, pag natapos nyo yun, nakapag-start na kayo ng digital archive. Okay? So, that's the last slide. Tama ang aking timing. Thank you. If you have questions po, you can email me. dunwanlizel@gmail.com if you have. And then, I think you'll have access naman to the PowerPoint. Salamat po for listening. Thank you.